Crown Princess Catharina Amalia of the Netherlands is shaking up royal traditions with bold choices and a well-thought-out strategy. An exclusive report of over 10,000 words that reveals the secrets of this quiet revolution at the court of Orange-Nassau. Discover how she is deploying drastic measures to prepare for her reign. Call to action. Subscribe to stay up to date with royal news. Share this video with your fellow monarchy enthusiasts, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Amalia will change the Dutch monarchy forever? She's only 21 years old, but the pressure she carries on her shoulders could crush many. Catharina Amalia of the Netherlands, future Queen of the Netherlands, has made a decision as discreet as it is radical. She's taking drastic action. In an era when monarchies must struggle to prove their relevance, when young heirs can no longer be satisfied with a symbolic role, the daughter of Willem-Alexander and Maxima has no intention of submitting to her destiny. She's shaping it, and the least we can say is that she's doing so with method, determination, and a touch of mystery. This isn't a simple evolution of the role of a princess, but a silent, almost military strategy. In recent months, the signs have been multiplying. Amalia is leaving nothing to chance. Every appearance, every silence, even every absence, is part of a larger agenda. She's no longer the shy young woman we saw on the balconies of the King's Day celebrations. She's a woman in training, surrounding herself, observing, planning. And to understand this transformation, we must go back to the origin of the change, a temporary exile, an invisible wound, and a turning point. It was in Madrid that everything changed. After the security threats that disrupted her student life in Amsterdam, Amalia chose Spain as a refuge, but also as a springboard. Far from the Dutch turmoil, she refocused, but above all, she studied another monarchy up close, that of Felipe VI and the young and brilliant Princess Leonor. This Spanish stay wasn't an escape. It was an immersion. Amalia, a keen observer, saw how Spain was training its future queen. She saw Leonor at military school, in formal uniforms, in front of flags, saluting the nation. And what she saw left a lasting impression. Because since this discreet return to the Netherlands, Amalia has changed her posture. Gone are the soulless, formal appearances. Today, every official photo seems carefully thought out, every gesture calibrated. During her opening speech to Parliament, she stood tall, serious, almost distant, as if sending a message: she is ready. And yet, behind this facade, lies a complete overhaul of her entourage, her priorities, and her training. This is where the real revolution lies. Because yes, Amalia is deploying drastic measures. She has surrounded herself with communications strategists, former diplomats, and specialists in constitutional monarchy. She has strengthened her security, certainly, but also her influence. Behind the scenes, she meets with political, economic, and cultural figures, long before the press is informed. She is building alliances. She is creating a network, not just national, but European. And this is no small feat. She knows that to reign tomorrow, one must understand today's Europe. She is also achieving this repositioning through her studies. At the University of Amsterdam, she has changed direction. Less visible on campus, but more involved in discreet seminars, she chooses strategic subjects: constitutional law, international relations, the history of power. She doesn't just want to represent the nation, she wants to understand it. She wants to be able to govern, if history demands it. But this shift is not without cost. In circles closest to the palace, some are concerned about the coldness exuded by the new Amalia. Whereas Queen Maxima radiated warmth, Amalia commands respect through silence. She distances herself from the people to better observe them. This raises questions. Is this a winning strategy or a dangerous retreat? Is this the price to pay for a credible monarchy in the 21st century? Or a risky gamble that could isolate her? The question is all the more pressing given that the Dutch monarchy is going through a turbulent period. Criticisms of the cost of royalty, of privileges, of a lack of transparency are mounting. And in the face of this, Willem-Alexander has sometimes lacked foresight. The trip to Greece during the pandemic remains an indelible stain. It is in this context that Amalia is forging her armor. She knows she must do better. To be more irreproachable, more connected to the people, but without populism. And to do this, she experiments. Thus, giving up her royal allowance upon reaching adulthood was a powerful, but symbolic, gesture. Since then, she's gone further. She's offered, discreetly, to do internships in public administrations. She visits troubled neighborhoods, without cameras, to listen. She reads reports. She writes notes. All of this under the radar. Because for Amalia, public image is one thing. Legitimacy is another. And in this quest for legitimacy, another aspect strikes observers: her mastery of digital communication. Where other heirs struggle to speak to younger generations, Amalia has surrounded herself with advisors from the worlds of startups and the media. She wants to speak the truth. She wants to connect, without sinking into the superficial. No frivolous TikTok, but powerful, sober messages, driven by authenticity. She knows that this is where part of her credibility will be at stake. But one question remains: how does Amalia cope with this weight, this pressure, this already demanding role? According to several close friends, she alternates between phases of withdrawal and intense preparation. She meditates, consults mental coaches, and works on her eloquence. She reads biographies of European queens, studies the speeches of past leaders. A modern monarch's life, where every moment of freedom is a lesson, every silence a strategy. This rise to power of the Princess of Orange is no accident. It is the result of a choice. The choice not to submit to her destiny, but to embrace it with lucidity. The choice to silence doubts, not with words, but with actions. The choice to show that the future of the Dutch monarchy can still move, inspire, and guide. And along this treacherous path, Amalia charts her own course. A path where each step seems thought out, weighed, and embraced. A path where the royal past serves as a foundation, but not a prison. A path where the future is built with intelligence, humility, and ambition. Because yes, today, Princess Catharina Amalia is deploying drastic measures. And in doing so, she is redefining what it means to be an heiress, to be a future queen, to be a powerful woman in a rapidly changing world. She doesn't ask to be watched. She acts so that she cannot be ignored. The question now is simple: will you be ready when Amalia's reign begins in earnest?